That's Sergeant Gaddy, and we're back again with another episode of Sergeant Major's Corner. That being said, I would like to welcome back Sergeant Major Budd. How you doing today, Sergeant Major?
Doing great, thanks, Sergeant Gaddy.
Today's topic, we'll be talking about difficult conversations. Sergeant Major, difficult conversations is something that goes on in the Army a lot on a day-to-day basis. Could you tell me about a time when PFC Budd, Specialist Budd, or maybe even young Sergeant Budd, when you were in a situation where you had a difficult conversation?
And so, having difficult conversations, initiating them, it's hard. It's not easy. I can think of a distinct time as a young sergeant. I was a team leader at the time, working night shift. I just got off shift and I was at the gym doing my PT. It was around 10 o'clock at night. I had a young soldier come in, specialist at the time within my squad, and they were delivering a counseling statement to me. And so instead of the squad leader having a difficult conversation with me, face to face, they sent one of the soldiers in the squad. I told the soldier to go back, that I would not sign the counseling and I'm not going to do this. And so as I reflect back on that time, I think about the squad leader and I think about myself and how we both didn't do what we should have done. We're non-commissioned officers. That squad leader should have had a difficult conversation, should have done that in person with me. And then I should have been receptive to the criticism and feedback that I was getting from that squad leader.
So, Sergeant Major, you've been in the Army for a few years, just a few years now. So you being a leader, can you go over a situation when you had to give or start that difficult conversation with the soldier?
Yeah, I was a company first sergeant. It was the first company that I had as a first sergeant. I had a young soldier, private first class at the time. And the platoon sergeant told me this individual worked for a Department Army civilian, and they weren't performing well in their section. And so the platoon sergeant told me that they wanted to remove him from the section. He was going to be fired, and we had to move him and find a better place for him to work. So I brought the soldier in. I had the squad leader and platoon sergeant, and I started to go over and counsel them for substandard performance. And the soldier became visibly upset. And so that kind of took me aback. And then I point blank asked them, is this the first time someone's telling you that you're not performing well? And he said, yes, First Sergeant. And so this behavior had occurred over a 6-month period. And so at any time, that squad leader, that platoon sergeant, and even that civilian that he worked for, none of those 3 individuals ever corrected the behavior. And so at 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, if anyone had just talked to them, that PFC had counseled him and set him on the right course, I could have prevented that. They could have prevented that.
So, Sergeant Major, you went over 2 examples when you were actually receiving this difficult conversation and giving it out. 2 different time points in your career.
Yeah.
So, how could you give some information to somebody that would like to know what would they do if they had to be the one to start this difficult conversation, or what would they do in a situation if they're on the receiving end of this difficult conversation?
Yeah, so it is a really good question because again, it's difficult. But I think of the first story that I told you. As a young sergeant, I could have been open to criticism. At that time, I just wasn't open to criticism. I thought I knew everything. And to really be empathetic to the individual that has to have a difficult conversation with me, it's hard for them. They don't want to have that conversation. So when someone does initiate that conversation, it might not be perfect. They might not say all the right things, but do understand that they are trying to initiate. And then I also tell you too, having a difficult conversation out of the blue for the first time, it's hard. And so you really need to understand and know your soldiers. If you know your soldiers, you're going to build a level of trust with them. And then, as that first sergeant, having that conversation, for me, it wasn't too hard to initiate. But what I had a difficult time was when I had that soldier and they were upset in my office, and don't let someone else have your difficult conversation. And so I think that's really, really key. That squad leader, that civilian, that platoon sergeant, they could at any time had that difficult conversation and not let it get to my level. And I tell you too, as a young leader, as a young sergeant, squad leader, team leader, if you have that difficult conversation with your subordinate, they're going to be more open and more receptive because you probably have built more trust. You probably know that individual better. Don't let someone else have your difficult conversation.
So we had a great topic today, Sergeant Major. Is there anything else that you would like to add or any information you want to put out to somebody that might need help having a difficult conversation that you didn't hit today?
Absolutely. And so, again, difficult conversations, there's all kinds of different reasons why you would have a difficult conversation. I highly recommend you go to Sergeant Major of the Army, Sergeant Major Talks, and watch his episode with Command Sergeant Major Lyon on difficult conversations.
So with that being said, today was a great topic we went over. I'm pretty sure that you all had difficult conversations, or you probably didn't tell people about those conversations. But make sure you like, subscribe, comment, click the link below if you would like to go look at Sergeant Major of the Army topic that we just hit today. I'm Staff Sergeant Gaddy, this is Sergeant Major Budd, and this is Sergeant Major's Corner.